know the Storytelling Math series from Charlesbridge, then you know that the series organically shows how children use math in their daily adventures as they play, build, and discover the world around them. And our next book in the series is no different. In Too Small Tyson, Tyson is the youngest and smallest of his 4 big brothers. It's really hard for him to keep up, but when the family's beloved pet gerbil goes missing, Tyson is determined to help. The gerbil's name is Swish, which I just love because the boys also enjoy playing basketball, so of course they would have thought of this cute, clever pet name. But at any rate, Tyson ends up finding Swish, but no one can reach the gerbil because he's stuck under a bed. What Tyson does is use proportional thinking to determine the combination of tubes from the gerbil's cage that he can snap together to reach the pet under the bed. He comes to see that the smaller the tube, the more tubes he'll need in order to span the distance. Tyson's story really shows how children gain a foundation for concepts important to measurement. And along the way, the story is joyful, suspenseful, and ultimately triumphant. What I love about the book and about editing the book is that if calling it a math book doesn't do it for some readers, then you could call it a pet story or a sibling story, or even better, a pet rescue story, because it is all of these things. And alongside it, it subtly shows foundational math concepts. I think it's also important to note that the Storytelling Math series makes a concerted effort to show characters that represent the diverse world in which we live. Janae Brown Wood's author note in Tyson speaks to how she is inspired to write stories that celebrate Black characters living their lives. She notes that we can all be problem solvers, no matter where we come from, what we look like, how big or small our family may be, or what kind of pet we might have.
Essie otra vez. Again, Essie is one of our new books that are going to be joining the Storytelling Math series. In this lovely book, we will follow Rafael, who is a Latinx character, specifically Chicanx, as he tries to stop his baby sister, Essie, from messing with his toys. Rafael searches for different objects and builds a fort out of different things, such as shoeboxes, toilet paper rolls, and other household objects that he can find. But the real question is, will his fort be strong enough to keep Essie out? And what exactly does Essie want? In this story, there's different concepts of math explored, such as spatial reasoning and 3D geometry. There is also diversity with its Latinx family. And as any other, like every single Storytelling Math series, we celebrate children using math in their daily adventures as they play, build, and discover the world around them. Following the publication of the English version of, again, Essie, which is set to publish in summer 22, this bilingual version is incredibly heartwarming, funny, and believable. It also includes a very thoughtful author's note about Chicanx families and a glossary of Spanish terms. The story is sure to resonate with readers who will identify with the headaches of a destructive younger sibling. I know I did.
We are thrilled to bring you the next books in our partnership with Chicken Soup for the Soul. These stories impart life lessons that warm the heart with heaping spoonfuls of good humor. In the Chicken Soup for the Soul Babies series of board books, our next title is Stuck! Help, please! Little Ferret is having a frustrating day at the park. It starts with a tricky zipper, then a sticky slide, then finally a very scary bridge. Ferret wants to do it himself, but he keeps getting stuck. Every time, Grandma Ferret gently reminds him to take a deep breath, calm down, and try again. He can do it, and he can even help others too. The next title in our Chicken Soup for the Soul Kids series of picture books, Lucas's Tricky Day, brings readers back to 123 Sunshine Street and the Sunshine Squad, a group of resident kids who have teamed up with their friends to be everyday heroes. Lucas is having a bad day. Which is a problem because whenever someone in the squad needs cheering up, it's Lucas who they turn to. He's always at the ready with a funny quip, a silly joke, or a goofy prank. What do you do when the life of the party is down in the dumps? Award-winning author Rajani Laraka gently explores positivity with a bonus short story and extra tips for readers and their grown-ups in the back of the book.
In the newest pair of board books in our freshly named Leo Can series, Leo Sleep Tight and Leo Rise and Shine, our favorite toddler goes through his bedtime and wake-up routines. Leo Sleep Tight is all about relaxing. The text focuses on Leo's senses as he follows a calming goodnight routine, taking a bath, putting on his snuggly pajamas, singing a song, and of course, reading a book with mommy and daddy. I just love how the slow sounds and cozy visuals help readers get sleepy right alongside Leo. Leo Rise and Shine, on the other hand, is upbeat and fun. The text has an energizing rhythm and follows Leo as he gets dressed, eats breakfast, brushes his teeth, and gets ready for his day. For me, the energy Leo brings to his morning routine is picture-perfect toddler, and I can just picture readers bouncing and grooving right alongside him. Together, these two make a perfect pair to bookend your day.
Hi, I'm Yolanda Scott, one of the editors at Charlesbridge, and I'd like to talk about Picture Day Jitters, which is one of the books I edited this season. In it, everyone's favorite teacher is back. This is the 6th installment of the best-selling Jitters series. Who hasn't been a little nervous when you have to be in front of a camera? I know I am, even right now. In Mrs. Hartwell's case, she's worried about keeping her class looking their very best for the school photographer. Adding to the pressure is the fact that their class's slot isn't until the very end of the school day. Mrs. Hartwell knows just how much mess her class can get into after a long day of learning. She spends her day watchful and diligent, swooping in to clean up any messes that happen. There's no running allowed at recess, lunch is in the classroom, and there are no experiments in science. It's not the most exciting day for the students. But by the time the class heads to the gym to have their pictures taken, everybody looks picture perfect. But they've worked so hard to keep neat and clean that the second their individual pictures are taken, they completely cut loose. But wait, everybody's forgotten about the class photo. There's nothing to be done, so the students take a photo in all their disheveled glory. When the photo comes back, however, Mrs. H realizes she was wrong. She didn't want a picture of the students looking their picture-perfect best. She wanted a picture of the students looking like their everyday wonderful selves, and that's exactly what they got.
I'm absolutely thrilled to be sharing our latest series launch, Every Day, with April and May. This early reader series has 4 titles coming fall 22 and 3 more following in spring 23, for a total of 7, 1 for each day of the week. Each book contains an everyday friendship story with a focus on social emotional learning, which I love. So I want you to meet our girls. May is tidy, April is not. April is showy, May is not. But April and May are best friends, and their pets are best friends too. April's dog and May's cat both appear in all of the books as the perfect furry sidekicks and emotional mirrors. Because April and May are so different from one another, they learn a lot while navigating their friendship. In this first season of books, they learn to apologize and forgive one another, collaborate and problem solve, manage strong emotions, and build a growth mindset. April helps May to be confident, and May helps April to be brave. And their pets help everyone have fun. Megan Dowd Lambert's simple text makes these early readers engaging and fun, and Brianna Dengo and Gisela Bajorquez really brought life to the stories with their fun, vibrant art. I can't wait for readers to meet April and May and their pets, and hopefully love spending every day with them as much as I do.
Forever Cousins by Laurel Goodluck, illustrated by Jonathan Nelson. Kara and Amanda are best friend cousins. When Kara leaves the city to move back to the res, the girls are both heartbroken. They'll see each other at the reunion next summer, but that's a long time to be cousinless. And when the reunion rolls around, Amanda and Kara are stricken with sudden shyness. Will she be happy to see me? Are we still best friends? But of course, it's like no time has passed at all. At the end of the reunion, they swap their dolls, promising to be forever cousins. Now, this story really hits home for me as someone who grew up in a large family with age mates who lived far away. That cousin relationship can be incredibly special, and there's not a lot in the picture book market that spotlights it. In the author's note, Laurel explains how she grew up visiting relatives as far-flung as the Tsimshian community in Alaska, the Oke-Oinga Nation in New Mexico, the Tuscarora Nation in New York, and the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation in North Dakota. Though she lived thousands of miles from her cousins, they stayed connected by love of family, by their shared tribal values, and by their culture and history. Laurel also explores the complications created by the Indian Relocation Act of 1956, which promised and often didn't deliver vocational training for Native people who moved to cities in an effort to assimilate Native people into white culture. Forever Cousins is a sweet, poignant story rooted in important topics that are often not addressed for picture book readers, brought to life by Dene illustrator Jonathan Nelson's gorgeous art.
Yesel, along with his family, flees anti-Jewish Russian pogroms in the early 20th century and settles not in New York or along the East Coast, but in the American West, where he makes a new friend with a Native American Navajo boy, Thomas, in Yesels Journey. When Yesel's family is forced to leave their homeland, Yesel misses his little village of Pawspek, but most of all, he misses his best friend, who always laughs at his jokes. After their long journey to New Mexico, Yesel's family begins to run a trading post, and that's where Yesel meets Thomas. When Thomas's sheep eats a hole in Mama's laundry, Yesel fears that his mother's anger has ruined his chance for a friend. But soon, the boys learn each other's language and spend time with each other's family. Yesel finds he can joke again and is rewarded for making Thomas's brother laugh for the very first time, an important moment of celebration for a Navajo family. This is an immigrant story about finding similarity across differences. Leaving home and building a new friendship are universal themes. The book also shows a different take on Jewish immigration to the United States and spotlights a cross-cultural friendship. Newbery Honor-winning author Kathy Lasky is Jewish herself and has always been fascinated by Jewish immigration outside of the East Coast. Her classic picture book, Marvin of the Great North Woods, is about her father's family who settled in Minnesota. Johnson Yazzie is a fine artist who was born on the Navajo Nation in Arizona. His art is unique, stunningly gorgeous, and infused with Navajo imagery and color. The pictures are worth poring over time and time again. Enjoy the book.
David Bedricki's Sumo Puppy is a heartwarming and funny story about everyone's favorite Sumo Kitty and his new nemesis. In Sumo Kitty, a hungry stray cat got a job in a sumo heya, chasing mice in exchange for food. But when eating like a sumo wrestler slowed our kitty down, he realized he had to train like a wrestler too. Through hard work and perseverance, the legendary Sumo Kitty was born. But now Sumo Kitty is older and wiser. He wishes to catnap more and chase mice less. So he's super annoyed when a rambunctious puppy joins the family. Chanko-chan is half pug, half bulldog, and all trouble. She is loud, she's messy, and all she wants to do is play with Sumo Kitty. But then Sumo Kitty has an idea. Maybe he can teach this puppy how to catch mice. She seems eager to learn. He tries to teach his new student the ways of the kitty, but dogs are just so different from cats. Chanko-chan drools, farts, eats just about anything, and barks at everything. Can this out-of-control pup find her place in the heya and in Sumo Kitty's heart? Like all of Dave's books, Sumo Puppy explores themes that are important to kids: making friends, accepting others' differences, finding your own unique skills, and learning how to be your best self. And the book is just so funny. It's full of zany puppy antics. If you're a dog lover, or if you're a cat lover, I hope you, like Sumo Kitty, will fall for our wild and wacky Sumo Puppy.
Rocio Bonilla's In the Neighborhood, readers are introduced to a neighborhood like so many others, with houses and streets and neighbors who keep to themselves for the silliest reasons. Camilla thinks her neighbor, Mr. Martinez, is too serious, but really he loves to clown around. And sometimes Mr. Martinez wishes his neighbor wasn't a big scary dragon, but really it's only Philip the mouse. And he wears a dragon costume because his other neighbor, Rudolfo, is a cat, and we all know how cats can be, right? If only Philip got to know Rudolfo, he might find out that he's a vegan. It is these assumptions that each neighbor makes from peering out their window instead of from getting to know one another that keeps them apart. But then one day, when Mrs. Paquita's beloved and well-used internet goes out, she needs a helping hand. And soon, everything begins to change. Through sweet and playful illustrations, we see this brilliant cast of characters come together as one act of kindness leads to the next, and everyone's wrong assumptions are cast aside. With wit, whimsy, and a modern classic feel, In the Neighborhood shows just how easy it is to turn a neighborhood into a community.
We here at Charlesbridge are beyond thrilled to welcome the second in a 3-book series, Where Do Big Creatures Sleep at Night? Get ready for bed with an exploration into the nighttime routines of some of the world's biggest animals. Author Stephen Simmons, whose previous titles include the best-selling and personal favorite of mine, Alice and Greta, takes readers on a nighttime safari. They will contemplate how big creatures, who are wild and rambunctious during the day, decide it's time to close their eyes and rest. Corresponding pages follow a big animal of our world, and with an almost lyrical rhyme, describes how they find their spot to catch a few Z's. Did you know that hippos sleep underwater, and while they are still dreaming, they bob up for air? It's so cool. Not only are there bedtime animal facts, but with each page, readers will learn something new about each animal, like how an elephant can drink up to an entire pool, and how an anaconda can weigh up to about 500 pounds. Science and animal lovers alike will want to indulge in this book every night. I know that I want to. Drifting off to sleep has never been easier, especially with the comforting illustrations from Ruth Harper. Warmth and light emanate from these pages, helping ease the transition to bedtime. She creates a content and safe space for these animals to find a good night's rest. These gorgeous hand-drawn illustrations are a beautiful depiction of wild areas around the world. This is a warm hug of a book, matched with fantastic science facts, guaranteed to make any animal lover want to read over and over again.
Fans of The Invisible String will love The Longest, Strongest Thread, a story about a grandmother and granddaughter who must find different ways to stay connected now that they'll soon be far apart. Our little girl is moving far away from Grandma. Neither wants to say goodbye. But when Grandma brings the girl into her sewing room, she tells her that they have the longest, strongest thread to keep them connected. Full of hope and heart, this gentle narrative and its subtle art reminds young readers that family connections transcend physical separation, no matter how far apart we are. I personally love the child agency employed in this sweet and soft story's sparse text. Thread is told from the granddaughter's perspective, and it's the grandchild that takes the initiative to stay connected with her grandmother, using her understanding of crayon maps, paper planes, and all the resources in Grandma's warm sewing studio. If only there were an enormous magnet I could use to pull her to me whenever I want, our young narrator wonders. Grandma says I shouldn't worry that my new home is so very far away. She says we are connected by the longest, strongest thread in the whole world. The Longest, Strongest Thread is a gentle resource for preschoolers and early elementary students coping with loneliness or separation anxiety. It's also tender and a kind-hearted choice for kids or their grown-ups navigating all kinds of change.
The Unknown Soldier. In this lovely picture book, we follow Jack and his family as they visit the United States capital of Washington, D.C. Throughout the story, Jack and his family visit different historical monuments, and on their last day, they visit a cemetery. Jack finds it boring, but as they see the guard patrolling the tomb of the unknown soldier, his perspective shifts. He learns about veterans, the military, and the respect and honor given to the tomb of the unknown soldier. In the end, Jack develops a newfound respect for those who serve and the appreciation for the honor and bravery of veterans. This book features diverse characters and will also resonate with many people, including military families, veterans, and just any American. Younger children who have never heard of the tomb will get a caring introduction, And the book is just perfect for Memorial Day and Veterans Day classroom and library programs, as well as preparing older students for class trips to Washington, D.C.
New from visual learning expert and the mastermind behind the classic Math Start series, Show and Tell, Smart Charts and Great Graphs by Stuart J. Murphy offers soon-to-be math whizzes a head start on understanding data collection, organization, and presentation. Readers will learn about line graphs, bar graphs, pie charts, and pictographs, as well as when and how to use them to represent data through eye-catching infographics that measure things like votes for the best meal ever. Spoiler alert, pizza comes out on top, and the number of burps each member of a household lets out in a week, while clever asides from an opinionated cast of characters keeps the jokes and the math coming with every new spread. As a companion to school study or as an independent experience at home, Show and Tell screams, pick me up to help with your math homework, providing an easy to understand guide for kids to analyze the world around them, preparing today's visually savvy young readers for success in school and in life through analysis. Show and Tell also highlights the A in STEAM, suggesting other data collection projects kids can do on their own that encourage creative, artistic presentations that will result in their own unique data creations. We're all too aware that dry educational books about charts and graphs abound, but this fun and colorful new release is a great alternative to didactic resources for homework help. As a reader who was explicitly told in school she was not a mathematical thinker, I can certainly support that this one will appeal to both analytical and creative kids alike.
Grandma's Tiny House by Janae Brown Wood is now available in an adorable house-shaped board book, perfect for the littlest readers. This charming counting book takes readers from one grandma to 15 hungry grandchildren as friends and family pour into Grandma's tiny house for a huge gathering. The rooms get more and more crowded as the house fills with aunts, uncles, cousins, neighbors, and friends. How will they all fit? It takes just one clever granddaughter to figure out how. Janae Brown Wood's rhythmic, rhyming text pairs wonderfully with the bright and playful illustrations by Priscilla Burris to help this counting book really stand out. Publishers Weekly describes Grandma's tiny house as a warm-hearted tribute to the messy joys of a big impromptu gathering. It's a perfect gift for Thanksgiving or any holiday or occasion to celebrate friends and family coming together.
One of the books that I'm most looking forward to this fall is the paperback release of Rachel Hymes's Princess and the Peas. It's a reimagining of The Princess and the Pea, set in an African-American community in the South during the 1950s. Ma Sally cooks the best black-eyed peas in Charleston County, South Carolina. Her son John is an eligible bachelor, and 3 local women vie for his hand in marriage by attempting to cook as well as Ma Sally. At the last minute, a surprise contestant named Princess arrives at the door. Princess and John are well matched, but Princess has her own plan of action. Princess and the Peas is full of the themes of love and family and depicts a strong, close-knit community with vibrant individuals throughout. Rachel is also the illustrator of the picture book, and her art is beautiful. If you enjoy fairy tale retellings, Princess and the Peas is one that is unforgettable.
Hi, I'm Karen Boss. I'm a senior editor at Charlesbridge Publishing, and I'm here to tell you about Troublemakers and Trousers, written by Sarah Albee and illustrated by Kaya Kafez. Buckle up. You are about to embark on a series of adventures with some of the bravest real-life characters you're ever going to meet. There are 21 women in this book, and each of their stories are filled with adventure and peril and heroic courage. Some of them were queens, some were pirates, some were soldiers or athletes or outlaws, and although they lived at different times in history, in different places, there's one common thread that binds them together. At some point in her life, each of these women put on some kind of pants in order to get something done that she needed to get done. Troublemakers and Trousers, Women and What They Wore to Get Things Done is a fantastic book for middle grade readers. Not only is it beautiful to look at, but it is filled with information, facts upon facts, images, illustrations, historical documents to look at. There are some more well-known women included in this book, such as Harriet Tubman, and there are some women that most readers will never have heard of. Maybe Anne Bonny is going to be new to your reader. This book is a fantastic way to learn more about what women have had to do throughout history in order to do the things that they want to get done. I hope that you'll enjoy meeting the 21 troublemakers wearing their trousers inside of this book.
For those who need a read that is both tender and honest around illness, The Hope of Elephants is a must-read. The Hope of Elephants is a coming-of-age novel in verse that delicately approaches the uncertainty of family with illnesses, but doesn't shy away from the reality of it either. Amanda Roston Hill uses beautiful verse with engaging rhythms to showcase the pain and anxiety of Cass, a middle schooler searching for hope as her and her family live with what it means for her dad's cancer returning. We are taking on a roller coaster journey through this family's life as we learn Cass wants to do so much: play baseball, watch the World Series, study at the zoo, travel the world with her best friend, only to learn that her time could be running short. Cass is faced with knowledge that her dad's cancer is genetic, leaving her and readers with one huge question: what would it be better not to know? Not only does the author deal with the topic of illnesses, she also doesn't shy away from the difficult conversations around faith and prayer as Cassie struggles to hold on to her beliefs as a Mormon. Watching her father fight to live and knowing she could be facing that same kind of life shakes the foundation of her beliefs. Throughout the novel, we watch as Cass and her family struggle to keep their hope going and ultimately realizing it is worth holding on to. The Hope of Elephants is a read that will tug at hearts and can serve to bridge that gap between children navigating grief and anxiety related to illness and those who wish to support them.
Henry Hamlet's Heart. This fantastic book by Rhiannon Wild is about Henry Hamlet, and he doesn't know much about what he wants to do next. It's his last semester of high school, and all he's really sure of is that he has this ability to make things pretty awkward. But he always has his best friend, Len, and they've been best friends forever. Len is mysterious. Henry's clumsy. Len is a heartthrob, and Henry's kind of a neurotic mess, but somehow it's always worked. And then Henry falls in love for the very first time, and he falls in love hard, and in a way that he really never imagined was possible. This is a fantastic book that takes place in Australia, and it's from an amazing debut author, and it's smart and funny and charming, and it's a passionate queer romance, and fans of Red, White, and Royal Blue and fans of Adam Silvera will really love this one. The first time I read it, I stayed up until 1:30 in the morning because I could not put it down, and I had to find out what happened to Henry Hamlet's heart.